Dispute between the president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, and the mayor of Madrid, Isabel Diaz Ayuso. Context: Ayuso visited Mexico to meet with some leaders of the PAN party, that is, with Sheinbaum's opposition. Kind of like when Milei went to Spain to meet with Vox during Pedro Sanchez's administration. Not at all to stir up trouble, right? Just a typical left versus right quarrel. But today we're going to stop talking about politics and focus on what was my core business for years. That is, history. Both women have diametrically opposed opinions about what the Spanish conquest of America was. In my opinion, both of them went to extremes, one with the black legend and the other with the pink legend. Sheinbaum romanticizes the Mexicas as a wise and ancient people, but the reality is that they were a warlike and violent civilization. Their expansion and dominance over others, demanding human tributes for sacrifices to their gods, has been proven. That's why oppressed peoples like the Tlaxcaltecas joined the Spanish.
What's true is that from Queen Isabel to now, this is only understood through love. Girl.
You really went overboard, huh? Ayuso romanticizes the actions of Cortés by saying that the conquest was a loving process, when it's obvious that, like any empire, Spain had its own interests. Still, I have to admit she has a point, since the black legend has generally influenced education more than the pink legend. At school, I was taught history with a simplistic narrative that the bad Spaniards came to loot, kill, and take our gold. I think it's illogical to talk about genocide, considering the Burgos laws promulgated by Isabella the Catholic that recognized indigenous people as free subjects. Something doesn't add up, does it? If the Spaniards wanted to ethnically cleanse indigenous people like the English did in North America, why was racial mixing encouraged? Why did they give the American territories the same legal status as the peninsular provinces? Why were hospitals, cities, and universities built where criollos, mestizos, and indigenous people could attend? Why did they encourage the survival of indigenous languages like Quechua or Guarani, now using the Latin alphabet? Despite all this, some Spaniards did commit abuses, and the relationship was not entirely equal, let's be honest. Point for Sheinbaum. A turning point we have to consider were the reforms attempted by the Bourbons in Spain starting in the 18th century. The drastic increase in taxes and the loss of autonomy in the American territories began to cause discontent that was capitalized on by the Creole elites and, of course, by Spain's enemies. Everything could have been solved if Ferdinand VII had upheld the Cádiz Constitution of 1812, which recognized equal rights for citizens of both hemispheres. But that was not the case. In conclusion, let's not fall for the black legend used to build nationalist narratives in America, nor for the pink legend used to demonstrate a supposed selfless superiority of Spain, which is also not true.